Welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
What to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down.
Oh yeah, we're breaking here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platforms. It's Tuesday. It's 4 o'clock. It's time for Sports Corner Radio Show. But today we are here on social media platforms because Beaver County Radio is having some kind of a high school playoff, and we were unable to put the show on today. But I decided that for your viewing pleasure and listening pleasure, I decided to put it on here. Okay, so we're here today on this platform, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X. Make sure you call all your friends, call your cousin, call somebody. Our comment section is wide open, and we're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios. And also, Mata, you can call them at 724-201-0500, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Also, this show is dedicated today to my late father, Ralph Williams II, and my nephew, Sean Negley Jr. It is also dedicated special today. This show right here is dedicated to the late D. Thompson. All right. And those of you out there who don't know who D. Thompson is, he's a longtime sports reporter for Channel 11. And he also had his own show, Smokin' Jim Frazier. My co-host was good friends with him. And D. Thompson, we dedicate this show to you today. And may you rest in peace, buddy. So, all right. This show is also brought to you nationally by Amped Up Sports, ASAP Sports, CRSMmedia.com, Fan First Sports Network, Galaxy Sports Network, and Let's Talk Sports Network, Sideline Sports Network, and also the South Florida Tribune and the Steel City Sports World, who happens to be our new sponsor, and TGI Sports. And later on, we have Keith Engle coming on from TGI Sports at 4:30 right here on Sports Corner. Smokin' Jim Frazier, it's great to have you today. How are you?
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Looking forward to it, buddy.
All right, we're here in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios. That number again, 724-201-0500. Okay, we have our first guest today, who is Mike SIZSAK from Amped Up Sports, and he's here today to talk with us about the Washington Redskins. But before we do that, we're going to do our Ralph's rant today. And my rant is this: the Pittsburgh Pirates win games, and they're winning them ugly. But who cares? At least they're winning. But you know what? They better get rid of some of this ugliness real quick, because this ugliness is not going to look pretty when they go up against some great teams that end up blowing them out. Okay, bad pitching by Nicholas. That Kyle Nicholas, horrible pitching Friday night, should have been shipped out and wasn't. And Bettner giving up runs, but he came through yesterday. So the Pirates have to get it together. They have to get the pieces of this puzzle together, or this season's going to go down the toilet once again. And that is my rant for today. Smokin' Jim's wisdom.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. I really talk about myself. I try to keep myself so busy that I really don't look around and see all the things I do. But for the last 25 years, I've been the senior vice president of Achieving Greatness.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do, Ralph, is we raise money through programs to help disadvantaged kids. And 10 years ago, we started the Sarah Weck.
Sarah Weck.
Sarah Weck.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Sarah Weck Humanitarian Awards. And we just thought that, wow, here's a guy that's known all over the world and nobody is recognizing him for 10 straight years, including this year. In March, Cyril Weck showed up to his program. Man, he was amenable to all the fans and people that would show up. Man, he would take pictures and sign autographs and do all the things that a great one does. So rest in peace, Cyril Weck. You'll be missed.
Yeah, you know what, Smoking Jim, since you mentioned Cyril Weck, and I didn't forget about him, but since you mentioned him, we're going to dedicate the show today to him too. So, I mean, you know, he was a great forensic pathologist. He was a coroner. He's a great guy. I never personally met the man, but from the accolades that I saw and some of the testimony I've heard, like John Benet Ramsey and all that, Cyril Weck is one heck of a man. So today's show is also dedicated to him as well. All right. All right. Now we're going to go to our guest, Mike SIZSAK from Amped Up Sports. Mike, welcome to the program. Great to have you today.
Always good to be on with you, Ralph and Smokin' Jim. Great time, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, sorry about this inconvenience here. The radio station canceled us today because they have some kind of a sports thing going on, and so they canceled us today. So we have to do it here on this platform, and you know, at least I kept the show going, and we may have to do it here next week too because I'm not sure yet what's going to happen. The radio station hasn't given me anything. And also, I want to let you know and let some of our fans out here know that possibly July 2nd could be July 9th, depending on what happens for next Tuesday. Sports Corner radio show will no longer be on Beaver County Radio. We will strictly be here on social media platforms. Smokin' Jim and I are going to sit down and go over a couple days a week here. We're going to have us. It'll still be 4 to 6. So nothing's changed, just the format. The faces are the same and everything else. So, but Mike, welcome. Let's first talk about the Washington Commanders. They drafted Jaden Daniels from LSU as their first round pick. Cliff Kingsbury is their offensive coordinator. Dan Quinn is the new head coach there. What's the vibe down there in Washington?
I got to tell you, throughout the process, that was the best kept, worst kept secret. Everybody kind of had the feeling that they were leaning towards Jaden Daniels. He fits the profile that we've seen from Cliff Kingsbury quarterbacks, the Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray type. That said, Adam Peters did a great job of trying to hide it. There was a lot of debate in between on the air, more from outside the organization than what we heard from inside the organization, whether they were going to go with Jaden Daniels or Drake May. But in the end, the pick is Jaden Daniels, and it's been pretty well received. He fits the profile of what a modern NFL quarterback and a modern NFL offense like the one Cliff Kingsbury runs. I personally believe he's the one of the two, him and Drake May, who has the most NFL-ready skill set in his ability to rush. And when you're playing a rookie quarterback behind a rebuilt offensive line, that escapability is going to be important. There is the issue. He's a bit older. His frame has been questioned. You know, they're going to get him in and hopefully be able to put some weight on him. I've heard a lot of people talk about the fact that, oh, well, you know, once he gets into an NFL caliber strength and conditioning program, they'll be able to put some mass on him. But that ignores the fact that he was playing down at LSU. They have some of the best facilities. In fact, I would venture to guess that the facilities available at LSU far exceed what's available in Ashburn at Commanders Park. And they have dietitians, they have all of that down there. So he may just be a guy who right now has a slim frame. I'm sure as he gets a little bit older, as we all do, he'll tend to put a few pounds on, but they will try and get some mass on him so that he can stand up to 17 games. But overall, the vibe on the draft, the vibe on the overall offseason for the Commanders. Their first one under Adam Peters and Dan Quinn has been really positive.
Oh, that's great. All right, now let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens here. Smokin' Jim, you have any questions for Mike in regards to the Washington Commanders?
Yeah, just a couple. Mike, first of all, I think you got a couple great receivers for Daniels. I was very high on Ben Sinnott, tight end out of Kansas State. If you call him a tight end, he can play fullback. He can play H-back. The guy's just a freaky athlete. He's fast. So I think that's going to be a great, great target. I think he'll be a star in the National Football League if he stays healthy. And in the third round, you got Luke McCaffrey, wide receiver from Rice. We know his bloodline is second to none, and he just got great work ethic, hands, and runs great routes. So I think you guys did very well in the draft.
Let's also not forget Joey Newton, the defensive tackle that they picked up in the second round. Everybody's forecasting that he's going to be a absolute beast in the middle of that defensive line. I agree with you, Smokin' Jim. I think Sinnott gives the Commanders offense something that they really haven't had since Chris Cooley was playing for the Washington Redskins back in the early 2000s. That sort of hybrid H-back position. I can see him lining up, as you said, a little bit at fullback in the backfield, coming out in motion to a tight end. Tight end is a position of need for the Commanders. They did sign Zach Ertz. I think Zach Ertz is more of a good, positive locker room presence, somebody to help install Cliff Kingsbury offense from his time out in Arizona. Definitely, I think we can all agree that his best days are behind him. Any contribution that they get, I would say he gets more than 20 catches in this entire season. That's been a good season for them. Luke McCaffrey will give them another wide receiver. That room is very, very thin after Terry McLaurin and the kid from and Jahan Dotson, the Penn State product. McLaurin, through his first couple of seasons in the league, was all-world, all-pro, and probably in the conversation for top 10 wide receivers. Last season, be it the quarterback, be it the nature of the offense, just didn't work for him. But I don't think that he suddenly forgot how to catch the ball. Dotson's coming into his third year. I think that he's going to have to show some improvement as he goes forward. You know, the first-round pick, he's getting into that territory where you want to see him make that step forward to justify them giving him that fifth-year option in that contract that he gets. Also, don't forget, he's a free agent pickup, but Austin Eckler combined with Brian Robinson Jr. in that backfield, again, what's the point of getting a shiny new toy in the form of a second overall pick in Jaden Daniels if you're not going to give him weapons to play with? And I think that they did a really good job over the course of this offense, over the course of this offseason, in upgrading their skill position players. There's still some questions about the offensive line. They did pick up a center in Tyler Biadasz from the who came over from the Cowboys, but you know, Sam Cosmi, Andrew Wiley, these were guys who were struggling last year. They didn't spend a lot of draft capital, if any, on the offensive line until later on in the draft. So we're really going to have to see how they can protect Jaden Daniels, which again goes back to what I said earlier. I think that his escapability is going to be a critical part of their game, at least initially.
All right. Now we're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens. They drafted first-round pick Nate Wiggins, cornerback from Clemson, and then a name of noteworthy here in the Western Pennsylvania area in the third round, edge rusher Adisa Isaac. Your thoughts on what's the vibe in Baltimore on this draft?
It's really hard to argue with the Ravens' ability to select and develop talent. A lot of people were surprised about the Nate Wiggins pick. They thought that they might go offensive line, having lost a significant portion of their starting offensive line in the offseason. But, you know, you got Marlon Humphrey back there, who on his day is a elite level defensive back. However, he's been injured, so bringing him Wiggins and then TJ Tampa, who they picked up in the 4th round, will help beef up that secondary. They struck gold last year with Kyle Van Noy, who was a late week 3 pickup, and Jadeveon Clowney as their primary rushers. But Clowney is gone now in the offseason, and Van Noy's a year older. I know that Chop Robinson was the kind of the celebrity pick, the first rounder, the person everybody was considering comparing to Micah Parsons, but I really do like the Adisa Isaac pickup. I think that he may not necessarily have the ceiling that everybody projects for Chop, but his floor, his ability to come and play and fit in that system right now, what they will ask him to do, I think fits into his talent. So overall, I think that they had another Ravens draft. They had their needs. They drafted their board. They picked up the players that they feel like are best going to fit their system. Still a couple holes. Still got to work a little bit on the offensive line. Still need some help in the defensive backfield beyond the 2 guys that they picked up. We'll have to see whether TJ Tampa actually plays as a cornerback, or they move him more to a safety more to a safety type or a hybrid position. So we'll see what happens with that once they take the field.
Any questions for Mike about the Baltimore Ravens, Smokin' Jim?
Yeah, just a couple, Mike. Yeah, you know, Nate Wiggins, he's just so fast and he's tall, 4'240". That don't grow on trees. But I really like your 2nd round pick, right tackle Roger Rosengarten from Washington. He got a nasty streak to him. He really came on the last couple of years. But I think you got a steal in the 4th round, man. Devontae Walker. He's a 1st round draft pick according to his performance on the field. He had a bad week in the Senior Bowl in the game in practice, and his stock just dropped. Same way with TJ Tampa. I think he was supposed to go in late 1st or early 2nd round. So I think you got some really solid guys there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Walker, the wide receiver, with all that speed and production at North Carolina, really come on as a rookie.
Well, they're going to need him to. I mean, part of the issue last year was that if there was any place where they were, like, especially down the stretch when Mark Andrews went down, it was pass catchers. Now, Zay Flowers came on strong, but Rashad Bateman has shown promise, but never really quite developed it. Remember, they let go of Odell Beckham Jr. He was supposed to be the big weapon, but he kind of got phased out of the offense later on in the season. Now, we know that the offense is going to rely very, very heavily on Derrick Henry, but they're going to hope that that Tez can come in and give them that dynamic with that speed to take the top off defense, which is something that they were really missing. And I know that we talked about the fact that they didn't run the ball enough, and they got away from their identity in that championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that they're hoping that this will give that offense a new dynamic and give Lamar Jackson just that other outlet that he's been looking for to push the ball downfield. So that big play potential is what they're really looking for this year.
All right, Mike. We have the Steelers here to talk about a little bit. I know you cover the Steelers for Amped Up Sports. You know who our number 1 draft pick is. Everyone's ranting and raving about him. But the guy that really everyone is ranting and raving about right now is this Peyton Wilson. I think this was a steal here. I think everybody, all the teams got worried because he had some kind of an injury bugaboo, and supposedly everybody got worried. But I think if he stays healthy, man, this could be the next. This guy could be the next great linebacker in the NFL. I mean, I really like this guy. I watched some footage on him, and I also found out from some connections I have down the Steelers. You know, some of my other connections, and they told me that Peyton Wilson has made a splash at rookie minicamp. So, but again, it's only rookie minicamp. Well, we have to see what happens when the real games happen. What are your thoughts on this, Mike?
First off, I do like that pick. That was a player that you got in the third round that a lot of teams who were looking for that type of linebacker wanted, and the fact that he ended up with the Steelers is a benefit for their defense.
Right.
I do want to say one of my favorite moves for the Steelers for the whole entire off season was signing Patrick Queen. Anytime that you can get a good player
that was a good signing as well. Yes.
Yeah, because anytime that you can get a player who makes your defense better at the expense of a rival, not only did they make their defense better, plug a hole at the inside off-ball linebacker, they also made the Baltimore Ravens defense a little bit worse.
That's it.
And so
you
get the double whammy there. So that's like almost, if you want to say, like two signings. I think that you look at him, Wilson getting to learn behind a player like Highsmith Queen. Even Cole Holcomb, I'm surprised that the Commanders let go of him, and I know that they're kicking themselves for it because linebacker was such a position of need for the Commanders all last season, and here you had one who was in your system, and you basically let him walk to Western Pennsylvania. Yeah, for no apparent reason. If there was any question about the linebacking core for the Steelers and the need to beef that up, I think this offseason they've really addressed it. And I think that you can bring Peyton Wilson in, gradually get him used to the type of defense that the Steelers play, which is that 3-4 is really unlike a lot of players. I've seen the linebackers do things that you just don't see other linebackers do for other teams, be it in a 3-4 or 4-3 system. So the learning curve coming from college into Steelers is going to be a little bit, is going to be a lot, but he's got the opportunity to learn. I really think that that's a great pickup. Like you said, I think that Fautanu, the lineman that you grabbed, he's a player that a lot of people liked. You wanted to add some beef at tackle positions to protect, Russell Wilson and
Justin Fields.
Fields. And so you did that. Jones and Fautanu looked like they could be bookend tackles for the next, decade. In Steelers
and then we got Zach Frazier, Mike, from West Virginia in the second round, and I thought that was a good pick as well. I actually thought their draft wasn't a bad draft, except for, a few of the other guys at the late rounds is what we're, questioning. Other than that, I think they got pretty much what they needed. Today, I found out that they're possibly getting ready to re-sign Marcus Golden because they lost out on Bud Dupree, who went to the LA Chargers. And the Steelers also blew it. They had a chance to get OBJ. They had a chance to get Tyler Boyd. They didn't get either one of them. And I don't know where they're going. And I hear now they're looking at a guy from the Tennessee Titans. They're looking at a wide receiver from there. We'll see where they go here. They laid a few eggs this year on this, with this stuff, with some of these free agents. Smokin, Jim, you have any questions for Mike?
Yeah, Mike, man, that was great information about Patrick Queen. Real surprised. He's only 24 years old, never been hurt in high school, college, or the pros, and he really didn't cost that much money. I'm really surprised the Ravens let a guy like that go.
He was his first two seasons, he kind of underperformed. He blossomed a lot in 2022. He had a really phenomenal 23 season, but the Ravens were up against it. They had a number of free agents that they had to re-sign. They prioritized Matabuke on the defensive line. That was the guy that they franchised. That was the guy that they wanted to lock up long term. And the opportunity cost of signing Matabuke to the deal that they signed him to was having to let Patrick Queen go. And I think that if you can criticize the Ravens for one thing, I don't think this offseason that they have really necessarily replaced him the way that I would have expected him to. Now, that's an organization that will go late into the offseason before kind of finalizing their roster. I said earlier, Kyle Van Noy, who was a critical piece of that defense throughout the season, he didn't sign until week 3. So I expect them to be scouring the wires later on to see if there's any inside linebacker help that gets released. I agree with Ralph. I think that the Steelers need to look at their wide receiver depth. Ralph, I would add to that, I wouldn't be surprised if they look for a running back as well. I know that they
have one that they signed as an undrafted free agent. They have that kid from Georgia. I'm hearing he's not bad. I had Tim Worley on for the draft when we did our draft thing, and he talked sort of a little bit about this guy. And so I think and I hear he's not doing too bad in rookie minicamp, but again, that's rookie minicamp, so we'll see where they go here. Mike, thanks for being part of it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, if I was anything, I would say wide receiver and probably secondary, getting another. I'm not 100% sure right now who's going to play in the slot for them at cornerback. But those are after the draft and the offseason that they've had. I think those are the only 2 positions in need that I can think of on the Steelers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they do need to do a slot corner. I'm hearing Patrick Peterson might be coming back at a discount, which of course, we all know what he. I mean, when he was playing safety, he's okay. At corner, he stinks. So I guess, we're going to find out where he goes. And if he signs with the Steelers, that's a discount. That's veteran presence in the locker room. So we'll see what happens there, Mike, thanks for being part of the program. Mike SIZSAK from Amped Up Sports, and brought to you today by the original Hometown Pizza, 412-264-4444, University Boulevard in Moon Township. Stop by today. You can eat in, take out, or call for delivery if you live in the Moon, and tell them, give them my name. You get a discount. Plus, Tuesday is double stack day. You get 2 pizzas for the price of 1. So check out the original Hometown Pizza, Moon Township, 412-264-4444. Mike, thanks again for being part of the program, and we'll have you come back on again. Thank you.
All right.
Mike SIZSAK from from Amped Up Sports. Smokin' Jim, what are your thoughts about Mike and and what he had to add?
I thought Mike nailed it. He did very well, not only with Washington and Baltimore, but also he was very thorough with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I couldn't agree with him more on most of the things, except for Sue and Broderick Jones being the future of tackles.
You still got that. You still got that kick about Broderick Jones there, Smokin' Jim.
Dan Moore is going to have a long say in what happens in the tackle position, Bill.
Oh yeah, we'll see what goes on there. All right, Smokin' Jim, we'll have your boxing report come up later on because Keith Engle's going to be joining us shortly here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, more of Sports Corner. And I apologize for it being here, but we had to do it here today. So when we come back, more Sports Corner right after these words. .3 p.m. S&T Bank Arena. It's called Evolution, brought to you by Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. EC3 will make an appearance, the NWA World Champion, and a whole lot more. Great entertainment for the family friendly. $25 for the first 2 rows, $20 for the floor, and $15 general admission. Get your tickets now for Evolution, brought to you by Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. Let me talk to you here today about Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. 724-201-0500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. They have the best technicians to handle your furnace, air conditioner, UV lighting, snow melt, much, much more. Call them today, 724-201-0500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You can also catch them on Facebook at Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Mata, you oughta call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. All right, we're back here at Sports Corner, and I know what you're expecting. You thought we'd be on the radio today, but we're here on social media platforms. I'm Ralph Williams. Smokin Jim Frazier is my co-host, and we're here every Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m. Next week, we're not sure yet. Beaver County Radio will probably notify me in the next few days as to whether or not we're going to be on next Tuesday on Beaver County Radio. But anyway, we have David Alexander from Amped Up Sports next week to come on. He's going to talk about the Indy Colts and a few other teams as well. So we have one guest at least scheduled for next week, and it possibly will be here on this platform as well. All right, we're going to go to our next guest, Keith Engle from the TGI Sports Network. Keith, welcome to the program. It's great to have you again.
Good afternoon, Ralph. Great to be here. How are you today?
Oh, good. We get to see each other and face to face.
I know. This is the medium I'm used to, right? So
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. Well, you know what? We're coming back to this after July 2nd, probably. So we'll be back on social media platforms here. We're gonna Smokin Jim and I are gonna sit down and discuss what days we're gonna do this, and we're gonna have it here after July 2. I was unable to work out a contract agreement with them for a new contract that's at Beaver County Radio. So just to let everyone know.
They're lost, Ralph. You let me know what you're doing and when you're doing it, and I'll be glad to promote it as I have up until now.
I appreciate that. Smokin Jim, say hello to Keith.
What's up, my man Keith? How you doing, buddy?
Good. Smokin Jim, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
All right, Keith. We have a lot of topics we can talk about today. One of them is your thoughts on the NFL draft. What teams do you think won or did well in the draft, and what teams do you think stunk the joint up?
I'll start with stinking the joint up. I have no idea what the Atlanta Falcons are doing. If you're in win now mode and you just signed a guy to a $140 million contract who's 30-something years old, and you're drafting a guy who might play in 4 years, I don't know what you're thinking. You're not helping that guy at all. I understand.
No, not at all.
Kirk Cousins is confused. I was confused that night. And so
I like that. Kirk Cousins is confused. There you go.
Yeah, right. I just don't get it. I mean, I'm not saying they would have won. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins, but that's their plan. And if that's your plan, then you need to get him help for now, not worried about 4 or 5 years from now. So I'm not happy with what they did. I'll be honest with you. I like what the Eagles did. I think they got maybe the 2 best corners in the draft.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think they did a good job. I think I like what your Steelers did in the draft. Maybe not so much in free agency. I do think Russell Wilson's done, and I think Justin Fields will be the quarterback there sooner than later. But I do like what they did in the draft. My own team, the Patriots. I'm a big Drake.
Speaking of the Patriots, Keith, what's your thoughts on Alex Van Pelt as your new offensive coordinator? Do you like him or you hate him?
I'm not a big fan, but he did bring Jacoby Brissett to the best season he's had. He'll be the bridge quarterback more likely than not. So,
right.
At one point, I'm trying to find a positive spin on this. Otherwise, I'm not getting.
Jared Mayo is the head coach too. That's another thing.
Well, so they did a lot of stuff to keep Gerard Mayo here, and one of the things obviously they did was promise him the job when Bill Belichick was gone, and it was in his contract that he would be the coach when that happened.
Right.
That's how they kept him from interviewing for other jobs. They like him a lot. He's well liked within the organization and around the league, obviously. So I'm going to look at this is not an overnight fix in New England, right? We're spoiled. but I'm old enough that I remember bad days before all the good days we had for that 20-year run. And
yeah, especially the Steve Grogans of the world, like you were talking about some time ago on your show.
yeah,
you know,
just last week we had Brian Williams on, who was
Tony Easton, I remember him.
Brian Holloway we had on last week. He was one of the great offensive linemen on that Super Bowl team in '86. And this is, but we had more bad years than good years until 2000.
Yes, exactly.
And this isn't going to be an overnight fix, right? I mean, that's why I don't know that I would have gone with Drake May at 3. I might have gone Marvin Harrison and got a quarterback later on.
There were plenty of them out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, again, now we've made the decision. I'll stick with it, and I just don't know who he's going to throw the ball to right now. So the skill are a little weak. They did improve the offensive line. The defense is still pretty good, so it's just going to take some time here. We got to be patient. Who else did well? As I think back, the Eagles were the team that I like. I think the Vikings did a good job, actually.
I thought the Vikings did real good. They kept on trading up and down. They were moving around, getting draft picks, soaking it up. I mean,
they didn't panic.
They did a really good job.
And I think the Falcons probably did them a favor in a way, and maybe some other teams. They didn't have to trade up to get the quarterback that they wanted all along, so that was a good move. I think they might have traded up one spot at the end of it, but they didn't have to trade way up, so that was a good move for them. They've got some really good wide receivers for JJ McCarthy to work with, and I like what they're putting together there, and I like their coach a lot. Who else didn't I like? There was another team I know I did. I personally like what the Jets did. I'm not a Jets fan, obviously, but I think the Jets had a good draft.
Shipped on Zach Brown. I mean, shipped him straight over to what's his face over there in the Broncos, Sean Payton. Yeah. So,
there's another team I didn't like their draft. I'm not a big Bo Nix fan, and I think Sean Payton's in for a rough go that maybe for the remainder of his Bronco career. I just not a big fan of Bo Nix.
I think he is. I think he should have stayed in the broadcast booth.
Yeah.
That's what I
see Bo Nix. Bo Nix reminds me a lot of Mac Jones, who I saw up close. Right. When you got elite wide receivers or just running free, it's easy to complete 70% of your passes. When you get to the NFL, it's a little bit different, right? So
right. Smokin, Jim, you have any questions for Keith?
Yeah, I agree with you, Keith, that Philadelphia Eagles did a great job, grabbing, especially getting a guy like Cooper DeJean in the second round. That's going to go down as one of the biggest steals in NFL history. But why don't you? There's a lot of people that don't like Bo Nix.
They didn't hear the end. You had the end of what he said there.
For some reason here, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who don't like Bo Nix. Why don't you like him?
His struggles in the SEC when he really didn't get. I mean, he improved, so I'll give him credit for that. But he really didn't improve until he went to a league that plays a lot less defense than the league he came from. Scores are high all over the league. Quarterback play is elite all over the league. When he played in the SEC at Auburn, he struggled pretty much every Saturday. So when he took a little step down in competition, if you will, and I really don't want to badmouth the Pac-12. That's not what this is about.
Right.
But the defense was just not as strong in that league, top to bottom, as it was in the SEC.
Well, the Pac-12 is a offensive kind of conference.
Absolutely.
When you think, Keith. So, the Pac-12, their defense is, it's throw the ball everywhere. That's what it is in the Pac-12.
And he may prove me wrong, and I've got the same doubts a little bit about Michael Penix a little bit as well. And God knows when we'll see him, So,
right.
I heard somebody talk the other day on one of the shows I was guesting on that said that they expected Michael Penix to get in if Kirk Cousins struggles for a couple games, we'll see Michael Penix. That's not going to happen. You're paying this guy $140 million. You're not sitting him down at all. I don't care if he struggles.
And here's the guy that hasn't won a Super Bowl, and look at the money he's got. And there's a bunch of them all across the league. I had a discussion with somebody today about Daniel Jones. I mean, here's a guy who, really is not even an average quarterback. And look at the big money he got. Geno Smith, he only had one really good season. and then all of a sudden he's being paid a lot of money. So it's a lot of average guys, you know.
Kirk Cousins has got to be the best negotiator of any quarterback ever to play in the NFL.
He's got a good agent.
He's done this a couple of times now. So
yeah, he's got a good agent. That's what it's all about there, you know.
Right.
All right. Keith, how long can you stay on with us today?
I can stay as long as you need me.
Okay, good. I'll need you till about maybe 10 to 5 to 5 because I have another guest coming on at 5.
Yep.
I haven't heard back from him yet, so we'll see what happens. But
that's fine.
Because the original plan was to have you on for 15 minutes, but Anyway, so I thought the draft was okay. I thought a lot of teams, came out pretty good. But let's talk a little bit about baseball here. We got some teams doing well, others not doing so well. Who do you think right now is going to be the top team here coming down the stretch?
I love Baltimore. I love Baltimore, the way they put this team together. I think they're going to get better. They've had some injuries early in the year that they're still getting over. A lot of hype about a lot of chatter about Jackson Holiday when they brought him up, going 1 for 30 or whatever he went for. They sent him down. I don't think that's a big deal. I think he'll be back this year and probably contribute. I think the Orioles are the best team in the American League, if not in baseball. I still think the Braves are probably the best team in baseball. They've had some struggles recently hitting the ball, but I think they're the best 2 teams in baseball. I think we'll see them. That's the teams I predicted to get to the World Series. We've got some surprises. The Cleveland surprised me as well as they played so far this year.
Milwaukee with their new manager. I mean, I wasn't sure what to expect from Milwaukee. They gave the Pirates a pretty good game last night. So
yeah. And the Astros have surprised me in the other way as far as how bad they've been consistently. I said relax in the beginning of the season, but
White Sox are horrible.
White Sox,
the A's. Of course, the A's aren't that good.
A's have played a little better. They're only 5 games under 500. That's really good for them. I mean, and the White Sox have got
the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies are horrible. So
every year as I do my MLB update weekly, I kind of have a team or two that I pick to chase the 120 loss record mark. And right now, my White Sox were my front runner here. The A's and Royals both gave it a good run last year, but they kind of won too many games at the end of the season. Right now, there's 3 teams, and the Marlins and the Rockies and the White Sox, who might have a shot to reach that mark. But
yes, exactly, yes.
It's just a lot of baseball as whole is got some issues with too many injuries to marquee players, and they've got to figure this problem out. I think that the training regimen these guys do today is not geared towards a 162 game baseball season. They do too much, weightlifting and not getting their core ready.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you think the pitch count's doing anything to these pitchers? Do you believe that?
I have said, and I have preached on my shows, if you watch, man, it's probably ad nauseum for people, that the way these pitchers are dealt with from the very time they hit the major leagues, maybe even before they hit the major leagues in college, they don't throw. Years ago, we didn't have pitch counts. The guys threw in between starts multiple times. They don't pitch in tough situations. As soon as they get into a jam, they get them out of there so they don't.
Exactly. Yes, I agree with you on that one. That's I saw what was it? The Pirates were playing somebody, and there was 2 outs, and the guy had 2 strikes on him. There was nobody on base. He took that guy out, then put the pitcher in to pitch to one batter, and then put another pitcher in right afterwards.
Yeah,
why do you do that?
The guys who pay the most money don't get to pitch the most important part of the game. Hardly ever.
Exactly.
Matt, the other day, he's got a no-hitter through 7. He's pitched 109 pitches, which, back in the day would not have been a ton.
Exactly.
But there was no thought that he was going to. They don't even think twice about taking him out of a no-hitter. You're cheating the players. You're cheating the fans out of historic moments that will never are rarely going to happen anymore.
All right, Jim, you have any questions for Keith?
Yeah, Keith. The Pittsburgh Pirates looks like they got a really, really good pitcher this year. Last year in the first round, Schemes. What do you think of him?
I think he's got nasty stuff. He's got great stuff. He might have to harness it a little bit. He had some control issues in his debut the other day. I think he threw 85 pitches in 4 innings, maybe, or something like that. But he struck out 7, so you can see the stuff he's got. Again, I think I think he's one of the best pitchers to come up. I think the other kid from Milwaukee, Massey. I think the kid's name was pitched Friday night. He pitched a really good game. He pitched a shutout for 6 innings.
Yes, he did.
So there's some good young pitchers, but again, I worry about all of them and their health because of the way the major league
treat a lot of Tommy John surgeries. I mean, there's a bunch of them guys having 2, 3 of them, and that's getting a little tough too. And when it comes to pitching,
it is hard. So, it's not good for the game when some of your best players are not playing. Mike Trout, I mean, I don't want to say tragic. Tragic is the wrong word. Tragic is, kids with cancer, but we use those words too much. But it's sad, the career that he might have had up to this point without the injuries. His numbers are really good with the injuries. Imagine what they'd be if he'd never been hurt.
Exactly. Smokin', Jim, you have any further questions about baseball with Keith?
No, sir.
All right, Keith, we're going to talk about the NHL playoffs right now. My team is Carolina. I'm hoping that they can get off of this or get out of this hole a little bit and get moving. I'm hoping it's going to be Carolina and Vancouver. I like Rick Tocchet. It's too bad he's not the Penguins coach. He's a great guy, Rick Tocchet, a good coach. So they got Jim Rutherford up there as well, our former GM. What do you think of the playoffs? Florida Panthers are looking good too.
They look very good. Again, I'm a Patriot fan, but I'm not a Boston fan. I'm a New York fan. Otherwise, I'm a Rangers fan. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Knicks fan, and this postseason is shaping up as potentially collapses for both the Knicks and the Rangers, the way we're looking right now. I do think the Rangers will hold on here and win, but these last 2 losses have been tough. The loss on, I want to say it was Saturday night when they put the game winner with about 3 minutes left. And then last night the wheels just came off. That was a great game. Rangers had 1-0, and then in a span of about 6 minutes, Carolina scored 3 goals.
Right.
And that's the type of game that can kind of get a team started. Carolina.
Right, exactly. Yes, absolutely.
The Rangers power play and the I'm sure the Rangers penalty killing and the Hurricanes power play has been, the key to this series. And now the Hurricanes maybe have it going a little bit. And hey, they go to New York, and if New York's got to win this game in 6, I think they need to go to Carolina and win this game tomorrow night. I think it is, because even though game 7 is in the Garden, I don't want to put all my chips in game 7 against a team that now has got all the momentum. I don't want to see that for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping that it goes to where it's Vancouver and Carolina, but we'll see what happens. The Rangers could take it. Florida Panthers are looking good. So, yeah. So,
the Stars, after a tough first round, haven't come back.
Looking good too. Yes, absolutely.
2 down in the first round. They now got a 3-1 lead over the Avs. So that's impressive as well. So I think there's a lot of excitement. Hockey, and I always root for game 7s, especially if it's not my team's not involved. There's no game 7 in sports like Stanley Cup hockey game 7s. So.
Oh no, not at all. All right, Smokin' Jimmy, have any hockey questions for Keith?
No, sir.
All right, Keith. I don't really talk much NBA, but you can do the talking because I'm not an NBA person that covers the NBA. What are your thoughts on the playoffs right now with the NBA?
Well, again, being a Knicks fan, I've been very excited up until the last couple of nights. It's very hard, and the Knicks have had injuries, and to me, injuries, they're you can only blame injuries to a certain extent. It's the next man up, right. And the Knicks have been able to overcome it, but I think they're starting to run out of gas. You can't get beat by 40 points in an NBA playoff game and then have it not affect your psyche. They're coming home for game 5, and then they're going to have to go back to Indiana again. They're up 2-0 in this series, and I think really what they needed to do was win this series in 4 or 5 games so they could get their starters some rest, because they've had to all play 45. Right. Some of them are playing 40 minutes a night because he's only going too deep on the bench. Boston looks really good. They look really tough. They had one bad
Yeah,
game.
I was going to ask you about the Celtics. So I've always been a Celtics fan.
Yeah, they had a tough loss at home, which kind of surprised some people in this Cleveland series. But now they won the last 2 games by easily.
Like Cleveland also is, so.
Yeah, I think they're going to wrap this up in 5, probably tonight. I think they might play the Celtics. No, I'm sorry. Next play tonight. They'll play tomorrow night. Out west, the champion Nuggets were down 2-0 against the T-Wolves, who have kind of one of the surprises this year. But they're back 2-2, and you don't count the champions out until you beat them. And I think they're the best team out west, and I think they'll be in the finals, probably against Boston, most likely.
Okay. Keith, thanks for being part of the program. I appreciate you coming on today. And like I said, unfortunately, we had to do it this way and not on the radio today, but we may be back here next week as well. But thank you for coming on as always, and we'll talk later. Keith, thank you.
Welcome.
And Smokin' Jim, you want to say anything to Keith before he leaves?
Yeah, just one, Keith. Who's your biggest surprise in the NBA playoffs so far?
Well, the T-Wolves are one of them, and I think also the Thunder. The Thunder's a really good young team, and I'm not really as surprised that they've made it to the second round. It's as easily as that they've gotten here. So I think the Thunder and the Wolves may be the future of the Western Conference of the NBA.
All right. Any more questions, Smokin' Jim?
No, sir.
All right, Keith. Once again, thanks for being part of the program. I'll be listening or watching your show and continue to watch it and continue to promote it. And you have yourself a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. That was Keith Engle from one of our sponsors, TGI Sports Network, and Smokin' Jim. Now we're going to go to Smokin' Jim's boxing report. Smokin' Jim boxing report. Go ahead, Smokin' Jim.
I tell you what, man, this is what you live for in boxing. The greatest, title in all the sports is heavyweight champion of the world. And come this Saturday, we're going to have a unified championship, which we don't get that often. I think Mike Tyson was able to carry all the belts. Muhammad Ali was able to carry all the belts. And I tell you
and
what.
And the Klitschko's too, right? Didn't the Klitschko's carry the belts too?
I think they carry belts, but it wasn't all the belts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Because I know both brothers had belts. I know that.
Yeah, both brothers had right there tells you that, So what I'm looking at is either Tyson Fury or Usyk will be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world come Saturday, and I'm putting my money on Tyson Fury. Never bet against a gypsy, brother.
That's why he's called the Gypsy King. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We're going to see what Tyson Fury does here on this thing here. And I saw a little bit. They did a replay of that fight with Carello or whatever. I saw a little bit on Showtime. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad fight either. And I saw some of the women fight on Showtime last weekend. I was checking out some of them on Showtime. So, who's the biggest one right now in the women's division as far as boxing goes?
Oh, women's division is so overrated. Clarissa Shields is the bell cow, but they had a women's belt, a bantamweight belt. The lady was 6-0 with 2 knockouts. She was 41 years old, only been fighting pro 2 years, and just got into boxing to get in shape. And now she's a world champion in 6 bouts. I know Claudio and Luther thinks this is the greatest era, but Layla Ali and Chrissy Martin would destroy all the boxers here today. So it's getting a little bit better. They got great bodies. The weigh-ins is unbelievable. They come out in lingerie in the weigh-ins, brother.
Wow, is that so?
Yeah, so that's worth it.
I ought to check out some of that.
Yes, man. It's out there on YouTube.
Oh, my gosh.
As far as, being able to box, they got a long way to go, brother.
All right. When we come back after these messages, we'll come up on the 5 o'clock hour and hour number 2 of Sports Corner. Smokin Jim and I, because it looks like my guest here, Robert Cobb's not going to be part of the show today here. So anyway, Smokin Jim and I will talk sports until 5:30, and no wrestle talk tonight. Actually, I'll tell you what, we'll talk a little bit of wrestling tonight because I don't think Robert Cobb's going to show up here. At 5:30, we have Matt GRUBBA from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds will join us, and that's coming up at 5:30 on Sports Corner here on our social media platforms right after these words. Ralph Williams here today to let you know that I am handicapped. I'm in a wheelchair, and I will not deny it. But I've had some recent inconveniences lately. So you know what I did? I went out and I reached out to foldandtravelmobility.com. You know, foldandtravelmobility.com has some of the best folding power wheelchairs. Look, do you not go to certain events because you can't get there or you can't make it because you need a folding power wheelchair to put in your vehicle? Well, guess what? Foldandtravelmobility.com has the right model for you. Get in touch with them today. foldandtravelmobility.com. Get on the phone, 1-877-GOTFOLD, foldandtravelmobility.com, 1-877-GOTFOLD. Let the experts help you get into a folding power wheelchair. Don't be sad, be glad. Let your life get back in order. Foldandtravelmobility.com. Do you drive a dirty car? Why? You need to have your car detailed and detailed by professionals at P6 Auto Detailing, New Kensington, Pennsylvania. Call today, 412-965-6578. P6 Auto Detailing. They are the professionals at detailing cars. That number again, 412-965-6578. P6 Auto Detailing in New Kensington. I'm Ralph Williams here today to talk to you about the Boxing Authorities TV program. The Boxing Authorities is a TV show that talks about boxing with Luther Dupree Jr., Claudio Rosano, and Smokin Jim Frazier. Tune in to the Boxing Authorities on PCTV, Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon Cable in Allegheny County, and also on PCTV's Facebook page. Also, don't forget to tune in to them on the Chatterbox Network and also on the WBC networks as well. The Boxing Authorities is a real intensive program. It talks about all the different boxing matches coming up. They break down every match and they break down all the legends, and also they have guests on the show as well. The Boxing Authorities, tune in today, and I tell you, they are the best in boxing authorities. That's why they're the Boxing Authorities. Of Pro Wrestling, Sunday, June 23rd, 2024, 3 p.m. S&T Bank Arena. It's called Evolution, brought to you by Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. EC3 will make an appearance, the NWA World Champion, and a whole lot more. Great entertainment for the family friendly, $25 for the first 2 rows, $20 for the floor, and $15 general admission. Get your tickets now for Evolution, brought to you by Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. All right, we're back here at Sports Corner Radio Show. My name is Ralph Williams, Smokin Jim Frazier. I know what you're thinking. Why are we not on the radio? Well, Beaver County Radio decided that they had to put the WPIAL on. So we're not on Beaver County Radio today, but get used to this format because after January 2nd or January 9th, there's a possibility that we will be here on social media platforms. Smokin Jim and I are going to discuss the 2 days. We will get back to you through social media as regards to that. Check out Ball and Journey coming up May 24th, Mario's 410 Bar and Beaver County or Grill in Beaver County. Check them out there. And June 22nd, Jurgles. And in Warrendale, 8 p.m. start time on that one, 7 p.m. start time on Mario's in Beaver. All right, when we come back, the second hour, we're coming up on the second hour of Sports Corner. And when we come back, Smokin Jim and I, we're going to talk some sports and a little bit of wrestling. 5:30, Matt GRUBBA from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and a whole lot more, all coming right up.
Welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
Thank you, Doug, for the introductions. I'm Ralph Williams, and this is Smokin' Jim Frazier by phone. And this is the second hour of Sports Corner. And we're here on social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platforms. Your comments are welcome. And we're here till 6 o'clock with the second hour of Sports Corner. And Smokin' Jim, how are you? And we're in hour number 2 of this. Boy, time went quickly, didn't it?
Woo. Every time we do this show, time flies.
Yes, exactly. Hey, Smokin' Jim, what's in store for tonight on Pittsburgh Sportsline with Al Levine and all and the gang there?
I'm not sure. We got Chipper in, so I'm sure we'll be talking Pirate baseball a lot. But as far as with Al Levine, the Tonka Machine, and Nick Harry Kellis, what they'll be talking about, I have no idea.
it's like there's no real set agenda. You just talk.
Hey, we get in there and have some fun. That's about it.
Yeah, Smokin' Jim is part of the Pittsburgh Sportsline show on Bethel Park TV. If you have Bethel Park TV, you live in Bethel Park, or if you're on Facebook or YouTube, check out the Bethel Park channel. And at 7 o'clock every Tuesday is the Pittsburgh Sportsline show. Smokin' Jim, how'd you like your new spot for the boxing authorities?
I enjoyed it very much, man. It's always good to talk prize fighting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, Smokin' Jim. First, we're going to get into a little bit of some sports here, and we're going to talk a little bit of wrestling here before Matt comes on at 5:30. We switched things up a little bit around here today. So hold on, let me find my paperwork here. I got a couple things all shuffled around in the wrong place, which happens when you have some things shuffled, not where they're supposed to be. So let me find out what I did with my paper here, or my sheet. Wow. What did I do? I didn't lose my sheet, did I? Oh, wait, no, I didn't. Might be over here. All right, I got so much stuff here, Smokin' Jim, sometimes. Sorry about that, folks. All right. You know how it goes. All right, first, we're going to talk about the Pirates. So they lost. Oh, wait a minute. This is the wrong paperwork here. I don't know where that came from. Hold on a minute here. Why can't I find this paperwork? This stuff that I did here. Wrong paperwork. Hold on, Smokin' Jim. Jeez, oh man. Oh. This is what happens when you don't organize things sometimes. Oh wait, that's not it either. Jeez, what did I do with my paper? My notes for today, for the rest of the show. Oh man, I don't even know where they are. Huh? That's sad. Oh well. Well, we'll just have to wing it, I guess. I don't know what the heck happened. Okay, yeah, here we go. I got them now. I got all the paper. I got what I need here now. All right, we're good. Okay, Steelers signed cornerback Anthony Alvert. They also signed Peyton Wilson, which of course, and then also you got your boy Andy Dalton and Nick Foles out there talking trash about talking stuff about Justin Fields. They said the Steelers shouldn't have done anything with him. He's bad locker room influence. I'm hearing he showed up for rookie minicamp and he's throwing, and he's getting ready for the regular minicamp. And seems like he has a change of attitude, change of scenery. Maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, he's always been a good kid in my book. He's a Christian kid, and I've never heard any problems. I think last year maybe he soured on Chicago a little bit. I mean, his play was well on the field. Maybe he soured because he was a former first round draft pick, and they had no intentions of extending him long term. And so sometimes it might have been a reflection of the organization more so than the locker room. But he's always been a good kid. Everything I've heard about him and studied and talked to other people in Columbus about him. He was just a Christian kid that grew up down south that came out east to play football at Ohio State against the best competition. And I think he's going to be the future quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers starting in 2025 after Russell Wilson wins the national championship.
Yeah, he wins the Super Bowl, you mean?
Yeah, Super Bowl, yeah. Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, we got that on our minds too. So, but anyway, yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. But see, the reason why, the Bears have been so bad for the last 3 or 4 years, they've had the #1 pick and haven't done anything with it. I mean, it's all about coaching and everything. And I'm surprised that Matt Eberflus is still coaching there. I thought he should have been fired last year. And now he's still there one more season. And I think what they're trying to do is like the Steelers do. They let you write out your contract so they don't have to pay you and end up firing them. So, or end up saying, well, you know what, we're just not going to renegotiate your contract. So, but anyway, that's why the Bears are the Bears. That's why they've done what they've done. And, I saw Harry the Greek on Peter Blake's show down in Tampa, and he's going on and on about how great the Bears are going to be this year with this draft. I'm like, what are you talking about, Harry? I mean, the Bears, so what they drafted, that doesn't mean anything. Sometimes it takes 3-4 years for these draft picks to get into the system. Am I right?
Well, you're exactly right. But, things happen quickly in the National Football League. The one thing I can say about the Bears is that at least they got Caleb Williams some real good targets, veteran targets to throw to.
Yeah, DJ Moore.
Rookie, rookie target to throw to. So as far as receiving weapons, he has no excuse if he can't get the ball.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr., man. They had a decent draft. I mean, they drafted some guys, like
they got Rome. No, Marvin went to Arizona.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. They got Roman Fatuz or whatever the guy's name is. Yeah. Yeah, they got him. Yeah, so okay, well, they're looking to re-sign Cam Hayward. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think they should re-sign him for veteran presence, or do you think they should let him walk?
I tell him to get the packing, get the stepping. I'd have somebody else in his jersey number right away.
Yeah, I think Hayward and Ogunjobi needs to go. I think those are the two. Both of them need to go. And if the Steelers were smart, they would have went out and got a bunch of defensive linemen. I've always said this: both lines of scrimmage are the most important things in a football game. And if you can't control the line of scrimmage, forget it. But it appears the Steelers are going to re-sign him, I guess, for veteran presence, I suppose.
They're going to have to because
they don't have anything. What do they have?
Well, Carl Dunbar drafts defensive linemen every year, and they all stink.
Yeah, they do.
I think
right.
he's only retained because he's Mike Tomlin's friend, and he got bad skin.
Well, we know he's Mike Tomlin's friend. We know how Mike Tomlin is. He hires all his buddies, and none of them are any good. So I mean, but we'll see what goes on here with this with the defensive line this year. The Steelers have signed wide receiver DJ Powell in rookie camp, who played for Duquesne this year. DJ Powell. So I don't know much about the kid. I know I watched or listened to a couple of Duquesne games, and he caught some passes. So, he's one of them. He might be one of them sleeper kind of guys.
Well, there's opportunities. The Pittsburgh Steelers not that deep. Um, wide receivers. So there's some opportunities. Let's see what he got.
Oh
He's
yeah,
gonna get his
absolutely.
chance.
What's your thoughts on what I talked with when I said with Mike earlier that I thought the Steelers laid an egg on both OBJ and on Tyler Boyd? Do you think I'm right about that, or just Tyler Boyd only?
Um, yeah, OBJ's a cancer in the locker room. I wouldn't have taken him. But Tyler Boyd came at a reasonable
Yeah.
price. You can't ask for a better price. And he
I
wanted
don't
to
get
be
this.
here. He played at Pitt. He got over 500 career receptions. He can play the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4 in the slot. He can return punts for you in the pinch. He had 67 receptions last year as the third option.
Right, right.
Cincinnati got 2 All-Pro wide receivers,
Yes.
and he
Yeah.
still got his passes, man. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. The only thing I can think about, Ralph, is maybe there's still an opportunity to get Cortland Sutton, who's not going to come, who's not going to be inexpensive. He'll demand a pretty big buck, and they probably got to give up a draft choice to Denver to get him.
Right.
So other than that, I don't know what the Steelers' plans are.
Well, what about I read a report today. They're looking at a trade to get Titans wide receiver Traylon Burks. What's your thoughts on Traylon Burks?
Another bum. I mean, they got a whole team of them.
You know what? You and Mr. T say bum. Remember in Rocky 3, he went, Balboa, you bum. Everybody always expands bum. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's a bum. So, oh, man. All right, the Steelers schedule releases tomorrow, Smokin' Jim. There's some preliminaries out there, but I don't have the full schedule yet, and I was trying to find it just to see. No times have been announced yet until tomorrow. The full schedule comes out this year. It looks like we're playing. I know we're playing Philly and Dallas, and I know we're playing a few other teams. So I'm not sure exactly where the schedule is going to go, but we'll find out tomorrow. What do you think about the?
Well, there's a couple inside people that's saying they're trying to rig up a way that the Steelers in the first game of the season plays Denver in a revenge game for Russell Wilson. Who knows? I mean, the schedule don't come out till late night, prime time. The NFL does everything prime time, and so we won't know until 8 o'clock tomorrow night. But I'm looking forward to seeing at least the first 6 games to see who we play.
Yeah, I heard we possibly have some tough ones here. I'm trying to get a grasp of where we are. Okay, here we go. I got it. Okay. We're playing at home. We play, our usual teams: the Bengals, the Ravens, the Browns, and we're playing the Giants, the Jets, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Chargers. That's a tough home schedule, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, you want your tough games at home. You should be able to win some. You should be able to win some games that maybe you wouldn't win on the road at home.
Right. Okay. And then away, of course, the 3 games against our opponents, the AFC North, Denver. We go to Denver where they have that altitude problem. The Indianapolis Colts. We play the Eagles. Oh, that's going to be an interesting game. The Eagles at Philly. Kenny Pickett. We'll see what happens there. We'll see if they could throw any balls against them 2 top corners that they drafted. And we'll see where that goes. Atlanta Falcons. We'll see if we can get a win with Arthur Smith's old team. And Kirk Cousins. The Las Vegas Raiders. We play them at in Las Vegas. So and then we play the Washington Commanders. So actually, it was great to have Mike SIZSAK on because we played the Commanders this year. So it's interesting.
Well, it don't sound like the roughest schedule ever put together.
No, but I mean,
But looking up and down that schedule, how many wins do you think the Steelers should be able to get?
I'm going to go with my preliminary 12-5.
Okay. What five are they going to lose to?
They'll at least lose one game in the division, maybe two. And if
Okay.
Cleveland is as good as you say they are, and some other pundits are out here saying they are, and don't forget Cincinnati division games are the toughest, Smoking Jim. But we managed to do well in the division last year, except for that one loss to Cleveland. We actually beat Cincinnati twice. So I mean, but
with no Joe Burrow, without Joe Burrow,
but and then the Ravens, for some strange reason, John Harbaugh always messes up against the Steelers. He makes these boneheaded, stupid calls, and he just, his strategy. I don't know what he's doing, but his strategy.
Well, his record against the Steelers is the exact same as Tomlin's record against his. So
yeah. Oh yeah. But lately in the last couple of years, he's been making some dumb decisions. You know what I mean, against the Steelers. So we'll see where that goes. It don't look like a bad schedule. KC's the tough one. I know they'll probably lose to Kansas City. Dallas has gotten better. We'll see where they go. And like I said, let's see. The Jets could be a surprise, but who knows? It depends on if Aaron Rodgers is playing. Okay, and then you got Indianapolis. They beat us last year, so we'll see what happens there. Yeah, they beat us last year. We lost to all those rookie coaches, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Remember when we had our Steelers show? And I said, which of the three of the rookie coaches do you think we would lose to? I didn't think we'd lose to all three of them. We lost to Jonathan Gannon down there in Arizona. We lost to Houston down there in Houston. And then we lost to Indianapolis. So, I mean, yeah. And now this year we got Raheem Morris back as a head coach with Atlanta. And we'll see what Philly does. Philly's tough this year. They got two new coordinators that are, top notch. Vic Fangio, a defensive coordinator, and Kellen Moore is their offensive coordinator. So, and this is make or break for Nick Sirianni this year. If they don't go to the Super Bowl, he's fired. So, I mean, that's so. I mean, how would you like that situation? I mean, we make fun of Mike Tomlin on this program, but how'd you like that situation?
Hey, Tomlin got it made. He can coach as long as he wants to for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what I feel about it. So, I have many arguments with people. Steelers are looking at re-signing Marcus Golden because they laid an egg on not re-signing Bud Dupree, who went to the LA Chargers. All right, let's talk about the Pirates here a little bit. They beat Milwaukee last night 10-8. We spoke about the Pirates. I was on with Ryan today on his podcast, Two Dumb Yinzers. We were talking about the Pirates. I think the Pirates are just like the Steelers. They seem to come up ugly, but they seem to win. And, they make a lot of mistakes, do stupid things. Do you think I'm right on this, Smokin' Jim? What's your thoughts on the Pirates?
I wouldn't compare them to the Steelers, but they. I tell you what, man, their pitching is really starting to come around a little bit. I don't know what they're going to do with Andrew McCutchen. He's batting around 200, although he had a couple of hits the other night.
Hey, Roddy Tellez is not even batting his weight. He's another one stinking up the joint. So
somebody says the Pirates have the same batting coach, and
we have Andy Haynes. Andy Haynes,
and no matter who he works with, they got problems. He can't fix anybody.
Well, he was up there with Milwaukee. Who was their biggest player up in Milwaukee? That superstar. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Played up in Milwaukee for many years. Oh gosh, big guy. Remember him? Played first base, I think, or outfield or something. And he didn't get along with Haynes. That's why Milwaukee fired him. And then
I didn't know that.
And then Milwaukee fired him because he didn't get along. And I heard he was a cancer. I heard he was treating players. I guess I don't know. I don't know how you treat players these days. I guess with kick gloves, maybe, I don't know. But Craig Counsell had enough of it, and he fired him. And I thought when the Pirates would hire him, I thought it would be better here. And I don't know if it's the players or if it's the coaches, Smokin' Jim, but we had the Eckstein brothers here, and they couldn't even do anything. So it has to be the players, because if we're bringing in all these hitting instructors and nobody's doing anything, there's something wrong here. And I mean, so I mean, that's Andy Haynes. I think he should be fired, and I think Oscar Marin I don't know if this was his decision or Derek Sheldon's decision, but if I'm upper management, I'd fire him in a minute. Why would you leave a guy like Kyle Douglas in a game on Friday and he walks all them guys and lets the Cubs score all those runs? Why would you do that? That was unacceptable to me. And I mean, and if it's me, somebody's getting fired, because who made that decision? The Pirates had a big lead. They were up like 6-1 or something on Friday, or whatever. And then he walked all those guys when the bases were loaded. He just kept throwing one ball after the other. And I'm like, come on, man, learn how to pitch. And then Josh Fleming comes out and he starts throwing them, and then the rain started pouring. I think the rain was the best thing, because you know why? It was becoming a debacle here, and then they scored another run and took the lead right after the rain. So I mean,
that killed Skeens' win.
Oh, that killed Skeens' win on Saturday. Well, they won. Yeah, that killed his win on Saturday.
Wow.
You had that fifth inning where you had all those guys in there. They were walking guys and everything else. Should have just left Skeens in the game. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, let the guy pitch. I mean, come on. They play Milwaukee tonight. So, all right, let's talk some more. Let's talk about the NFL real quick. Detroit Lions signed Jared Goff to a 4-year contract. He deserves it. They went to the playoffs last year, and again, the Bobby Lane curse came into fruition. And but anyway,
a lot of money. He got a lot of money, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And Bud Dupree signed with the LA Chargers. So those are some notable signings in the NFL. NHL playoffs. Carolina beat the Rangers last night 4-1. Rangers lead 3-2. Stars beat the Avalanche 5-1. And then tonight, 7 p.m. Bruins and Panthers. Panthers lead the series 3-1. And tonight at 9:30, the Canucks versus the Oilers. And Birmingham beat the St. Louis Battlehawks. I thought that was a really good game. It was a real low score, but it was a really good game between the Battlehawks and Birmingham. Two of the teams that I think could make it to their Super Bowl or whatever their championship game.
Have you reached out to the UFL?
Have I done what?
Reached out to the UFL?
Oh, yeah, we had that guy on. We had that Mike Mitchell. Remember him?
Yeah.
He's a reporter for the UFL. We've had him on the show, Mike Mitchell.
Okay.
Not the Steeler, not the former Steeler Mike Mitchell.
Yeah. Did you reach out to Rock or anybody like that, like he did the USFL? I was just wondering if they would call you back.
No, nobody from the USFL ever called me back. And then I reached out to that one guy, and he apparently got some other job or done something else. So now, but I still have connections with Mike Mitchell. So, so I'll bring him on. I'll bring him on when it gets close to the championship. And I think that's coming up in the next month or so. So, in fact, I think they're getting ready real soon. Their games are going. I'm hearing stories they're going to expand to 12 teams next year. I'm hearing that too.
Really?
Yeah, I'm hearing that. So we'll see where the Maulers land. If they're even going to be part of the equation. I don't know. They have to find a home field in order to do something, because I like this format this year of being in a home field. Look at St. Louis Battlehawks, Smokin' Jim. They sold out all their games. St. Louis should get an expansion team for the NFL, I think.
Yeah, I used to like the Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
I used to like them.
Yeah, and then...
Hey, well, how come the Maulers can't play at Heinz Field? Ain't nothing going on there.
Well, it's too big of a facility. Come on, the Maulers aren't going to draw, 100, too many fans. But I'm going to tell you this right now: in the next couple of years, if the UFL stays together, remember when Matt Grubba was on some time ago, and he told us that they're expanding the stadium to 13,000 down there because they're popular right now. I mean, they're selling out all their games. The Riverhounds.
Wow.
And then on top of that, they want to have special events down there, and in order to do that, you got to have more seating. So they're expanding to 13,000. I'm not sure how much they can fit there now.
I think people would go to see the Maulers.
Yeah, at Highmark Stadium for 13,000. I would think that would be about what we're.
You can see the game. You can watch you get excited about going to the game by watching it across the river.
Yes,
So
exactly.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think people will want to go. I think that'd be a nice family outing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, hey, if they win, people will go. If they lose, nobody will go. I mean, I went to Mahler's games. I went with my church. We ended up getting some Mahler's tickets. Jim Kelly racked up 52 points on Mahler's defense.
For Houston Gamblers.
Yeah, when he used to
Wow.
play for the Gamblers. Yeah. So I mean, there we are with that. So
Have
I
you
mean,
have you ever gone to the have you gone to the Pirates game this year?
no, I have not. I have
Okay.
a pledge that I will not go if I have to pay.
Okay.
I will
Okay,
not
I
go.
got you.
I try to get us media credentials, and I got a curveball thrown at me because somebody from Beaver County Radio already had credentials, so they weren't going to give out a second set. Okay.
Oh, I see. I see.
So, not to get in any further trouble with the station, I let that go. So,
Okay.
but I am going to reach out to them because we're not going to be on radio after July. So I'll reach back out to them again and I'll say, hey, look, we're not, I know people. JT Toth has a podcast, and with Draft 412 Draft Nation, and he's got credentials. Why can't I get mine or ours?
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
So I mean, but I'm hearing a lot of the media people that I talk to or see around or hear, they say that they just go buy tickets and sit in the stands because that media booth is way up behind home plate, way up in the sky. It's
Yeah, I've
like,
been seeing some of the photos. I'm like, wow, where they got the media guys?
yeah, they got the media way up in the skybox kind of thing. But
Wow.
if you're going to watch a baseball game, you want to be as close as possible. You don't want to watch it from
Yeah.
afar. Now, when
Yeah.
I go to games, I sit in the handicap section in the outfield, right field where the fence is. That's where I sit. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it there. It's very nice. It's quiet. Not too many people, sit there. And it's handicapped, so I like it there.
Does a hot dog vendor come up that far or no?
No, they don't have a hot dog vendor. They only have I think snacks and water and a few other things. I think they don't do hot dog vendor no more. Those days are over. Remember the old?
You gotta go down and get that $20 hot dog with.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, I don't even know what stand that's in. I don't even know.
I think Chip had one.
Did he really?
One, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He said he liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm I'm diabetic. I got to cut my weight down. My weight's already down, way down, and I've done a really good job of keeping it that way. And eating that kind of a hot dog, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Oh, you losing weight, buddy?
I am. I'm down to 270.
What was you before?
I was 309 a month ago, or a month and a half ago,
man.
And then before that, I was 330 or 340. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm down to 270, and I'm losing some more. I'm really watching what I eat. I'm containing my diet. I have diabetes, and my sugar was up sky high when I had that accident, and I got to start controlling my sugar because I eat too much pasta, too much carbohydrates, things like that. You got to be careful when you eat that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was at the buffet on Sunday. My mom and I went there for Mother's Day at the Chinese buffet in East Liberty. Friday we went out to Ponderosa for Mother's Day dinner as well. And I had to. I ate a big meal, and my sugar was up a little bit, but I only eat one big meal like that a week now. The pizza that we get from Hometown Pizza, I love their pizza. I only eat one piece.
Really?
Yeah, I don't eat a lot of that anymore.
Oh, no wonder Ryan's jaws is always moving. He's eating
he eats all the pizza. Yeah. I leave the pizza for him here. I don't bring it home because, I just eat like one piece. And then if Rhonda's hungry, she'll eat a few. You know what I mean? But we don't really eat the whole pizza because, I'm dropping weight and I want to keep it that way. So, And,
how far you want to go?
Well, I got to at least lose another 10 or 20 pounds before I can get my surgeries. I need 6 of them.
Oh.
I need 6 surgeries. So,
wow.
And June, I'm going for an MRI on my neck. And guess who my doctor is?
No, who?
One of Cyril Weck's sons.
Really?
Yes, he's my doctor
Wow.
for my neck. I got 2 bad pinched nerves in my neck. And and it's making my arms go kind of limb. You know what I'm saying? And I can move my arms, but I don't have any strength in them anymore. And so and whatnot. And I've lost a lot of my strength because of it. So, but we'll see where this goes. And I'm happy to be losing this weight. I'm down to 270. I haven't been under 300 pounds since 2018.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So, like tonight we're having chicken wings and corn on the cob. So, we're watching our carbs. We're being very careful about what we eat now. Both Rhonda's lost 20 pounds.
What is carbs for people that don't know, like me?
That's pasta, mashed potatoes, rice. Rice is supposed to be a carb, but that's also a wheat or also a grain.
Okay.
A grain. Starch and carbohydrates. Starch is bread. Carbohydrates are spaghetti, pasta, that kind of thing.
So I haven't cut anything out. Huh?
Yeah, we're all gonna be like Al Levine real soon here. So. All right, now we're gonna go to our next guest here on Sports Corner, and Matt GRUBBA. Matt, we're talking about my weight loss, but we're gonna have a Riverhouse conversation here pretty soon. And I want to apologize to you that we had to go in this format today because of Beaver County Radio canceled me out for today because of WPIAL baseball. So I just want to apologize for that.
Oh, no worries. Happy to be here still.
Oh yeah. Smokin' Jim, say hello to Matt.
Hey Matt, how you been, buddy?
Doing well, Jim. I hope you've been well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Matt, let's get started here. I know the Riverhounds started off rough here. I think they lost like the first 3 or 4 games. I'm glad to see that the MLS goalie that you guys have now has started to get together. How are they doing right now with the Hunt Cup?
Well, so that was our one setback recently. We had the great run last year in the U.S. Open Cup, Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, making it all the way to the quarterfinals and knocking off a couple of MLS teams last year. Unfortunately, there won't be a run like that this year. Tulsa, a team from our own league, knocked us out in the round of 32. That was this past Tuesday at Highmark here. It was a close game, 1-0. Really could have gone either way, but a little bit of a heartbreaker there. But Tulsa advanced, and they're actually going to play Sporting Kansas City, the MLS team, in the next round. So
wow,
we'll still wish them luck because we always want to see the teams.
What, Kansas City Comets or something? Isn't that what they're? I'm not sure.
I think the Comets were the old NASL team.
NASL, right?
Back
Okay.
in the 70s when Pele came to the U.S.
Right.
But so that's. But we always want to see the USL teams go far. We wish it was us, but good luck to Tulsa going forward. But apart from that one setback in the Open Cup in league play, we're undefeated since the start of April. I mean, it's been three wins and 3 ties since the rough start you mentioned. So right now we're right back to 500. We're 3-3 on the year, but hopefully trending upward. And we've got a big one coming up against North Carolina this weekend. Yeah,
you guys are headed out there to North Carolina for that game. How's everything gonna? Or how's the team trying to fix up that? I mean, I know that they came back from the beginning of the losing streak there a little bit. How's the team working right now with this?
It's still a work in progress. I mean, that's, with the losses we had in the offseason, it was never going to be a quick fix, and we are only 9 games into a 34-game schedule. So,
right.
The defense has come together a little better, although it's still, trying to eliminate the big mistakes and big moments. But, we played a lot of low-scoring games, and finding goal scoring is something we've been trying to do. I mean, right now through 9 games, we've got a 500 record, and we've scored 9 goals and given up 9 goals. So pretty good defensive record, but also, the offense, step back from where we've been in recent years. So as we find that scoring, I think, the results are going to continue coming.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Smokin' Jim, you have any questions for Matt?
No, sir.
All right. How's the attendance looking this year at Highmark Stadium? Are you guys selling out, or how's that working this year?
Yeah, we've had our game against Detroit, which was a rematch of last year's
Rematch
playoffs.
from the playoffs that you guys blew in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big one. We had a great crowd. It was actually the regular season record attendance for us. I mean, not quite the stadium record, which was our playoff game last year, but we had 6,000 for that one. Still had a nice crowd the next week against Miami, even though weather was not cooperating. I don't know if you remember 2 Saturdays ago we had the rainy day.
Gosh, yeah, that was some bad weather there, man. Oh,
yeah, but we still had a few thousand out, even braving the elements, that sort of thing, which was good to see. And hopefully, as the summer months come along, we're especially looking at a month of July where we've got 4 home games. So, I mean, hopefully, when the summer weather's out there and the school's out, people are coming down to Station Square and catching a game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry, I apologize. I still keep forgetting to come down and get my our media credentials, but that's fine. I'll get them sooner or later here. So, yeah, I'll probably come down maybe next week to get them if the show is not on the air. I'll be down early afternoon or on a Monday or something, because Monday's usually my day where I do all my running around. Because Tuesday I got the radio show at Beaver County Radio. But also I wanted to ask you, I heard some stories that you guys are expanding Highmark Stadium. What's that looking like?
Yeah, so that story, Post-Gazette was the first to report it. They were reaching out to us. It was from a grant application that we'd turned in. Long term, we do want to expand Highmark Stadium here, and the big picture end game. If money were no object, I mean, we want to get this place up to where it can seat 15,000 and be not only a much bigger soccer venue, but a big venue for concerts and things like that. Pittsburgh's sort of lacking a middle-sized concert venue in the city. I mean, you have places like
I don't even want to know about Star Lake. I haven't been there
and that's
in a while for a concert, and I'm handicapped. My wife and I both now have power chairs, but it's a concept. I would have to rent a trailer or a U-Haul van to go out there, and then we have to go at least 2 miles just to get to the gate from our parking spot. And I mean, and that's a handicap spot. So I mean, I refuse to go to a show out there because it's not really that handicap accessible for us, and I just don't. It doesn't appease me anymore. And
I think you're not alone in that sentiment. But when you look at Pittsburgh outdoor venues, you've got Stage AE, which is a nice place. I think holds about 6,000 or so. But from there, it's a huge gap to PNC and Acrisure, where the only acts that are going to fill that place are the Taylor Swift,
the ones that sell out, and the Journeys, and
the major global acts. So
right.
This inside the city limits, there really isn't a mid-size outdoor venue. Currently we do have some concerts here, but we really want to expand, what we're able to offer at Highmark Stadium. And
that would be great, man. I would love to see that.
Part of that is the motivation for the stadium expansion. So,
and then plus it's close to home, man. I live up the hill.
And so where we are right now is really it's funding is the first step of it. I mean, it's applying for these state grants for facilities improvements for public works. And, we want to be able to, initially upgrade what we have and just make a small expansion, add about 1,500 seats to what exists. But long term, and we're talking 4 or 5 years down the road, if we're able to raise the funds for it, get the investment, to be able to grow this to where it is, not only, much larger venue for the Riverhounds, but it allows us to host so many other events. Concerts come to mind, there outdoor festivals, different things like that, other sporting events, things that tour, or even hosting, the thought's been out there, maybe one day host some of the WPIL football finals here, because they can't play all of them at Acrisure as it's currently set up. So why not bring some of those other ones to here?
What kind of players the Riverhounds have? I know they have the MLS goalie. What are some of the star players on the Hounds this year? What are we looking at?
Yeah, so far, I mean, we've got, some returning veterans who are, key guys, Canardo Forbes. He might get mad if he hears me say this, but I just want to throw out tomorrow's his birthday. He turns 36, and he is the elder statesman of the team. But, he's still a very pivotal guy, playmaker, passer, creator in the midfield. That's really where the strength of our team lies. Robbie Mertz is a hometown guy, Upper St. Clair. He's still one of the more dynamic attacking players we have. And then, it's been a matter of trying to find where the goals are coming from. We've got, Edward Kizza, who's a guy who played in college at Pitt.
Great.
He's really starting to come into his own a little more this year. I mean, he was a hard worker and has always been, given quality minutes, but now being relied upon more to be a finisher. And, so he has a couple of goals this year. Keziah Sterling is currently our leading scorer. He has 3 of them. He came over to the U.S. from England, where he was, as a 17-year-old, he was with Tottenham, one of the top teams in England. And, through a matter of injuries and that sort of thing, he's sort of, working his way back upward. He had a great couple of seasons in League One, so the league below ours here in the U.S. And so now he's making that step up. And as long as he can stay healthy and fit, he certainly has the potential to be a top scorer.
Smokin, Jim, you have any questions for Matt before he heads out?
No, great job as usual, Matt.
Matt, thanks for being part of the program today. Really appreciate it. And it's great having you on as usual. Talk with us about the Riverhounds, and we'll be in touch again when it gets closer to the playoff time or closer to the end of the season. And we'll have you come on again and talk Riverhounds. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys. Be well.
You're welcome, Matt. That was Matt GRUBBA from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds talking with us about our soccer team there. Your thoughts, Smokin' Jim, on the Riverhounds?
I'll tell you what, man, they do things the right way. I visit their practice facility a lot of times on Sunday because they got AAU football, 7-on-7 football out there. They got youth in the outdoor facility, got youth soccer games going on all day long on Sunday, and then their inside practice facility is state of the art, man. It's just a huge facility, probably 3 football fields.
Wow. I haven't been there.
Yeah.
I you know what? I don't even know where it is. I mean,
all the great parking you could ever want. And like I said, they're always busy because they got about 3 or 4 outdoor fields, and you always got something going on, whether it's AAU 7-on-7 football or soccer games going on the weekend outdoors. And I tell you what, they're doing it the right way, man. You can get some outdoor concerts. You can make some money at Highmark Stadium with concerts and WPIL high school football games. Everybody wants to play there. It's just a matter of just getting the right amount of seats, in that stadium so that you can do football. You remember the Pittsburgh Passion?
Yeah. Passion were playing at Couple Stadium for a little while, and I think they played at Highmark for a few seasons.
Out there, man, and they I tell you what, man, they had some of the best years out there, man. So
yeah, exactly. This year, I believe they're in Pine Richland, I think. Yeah, they're playing at Pine Richland Stadium this year, the Passion.
Okay.
Yeah, they were playing at West Allegheny for a while. So, for a while.
That's a big difference. You want to be in the city if you can.
Yeah.
And that was the perfect place, Highmark. I don't know.
Highmark and Couple Stadium. I don't know what happened. I guess the Board of Education of the city didn't want them there. I don't know what happened there. I know parking's not the greatest there at Couples because I played football in Couple Stadium, and I know
you sure did.
Yeah,
you sure did. It's bad parking.
Yeah, you can't park there. It's difficult. So I don't blame them for playing at Highmark because at least there's some parking there. But all right, Smokin' Jim, let's talk a little bit of wrestling. But first, we got to pay some bills here. So let's do that. And then when we come back, Smokin' Jim and I are going to talk a little bit of wrestling. Take your comments right here. Sports Corner Radio Show, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platforms right after these words. To talk to you today about Sleep Pittsburgh 8th Avenue Homestead for the best selection of affordable mattresses, day beds, lift chairs, futons, and more. Check out sleeppittsburgh.com for their inventory or call 412-462-7600 7858. They also offer no credit check financing and a whole lot more. Sleep Pittsburgh for the best sleep tonight. Draft412.com is a website that provides you with all of the best information about any draft, NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, any kind of draft. 412.com has an e-magazine delivered to your inbox for $9 a month. And also they give you all the skinny and on all the athletes and also podcasts. Draft412.com. Pro Wrestling, Sunday, June 23rd, 2024, 3 p.m., S&T Bank Arena. It's called Evolution, brought to you by Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. EC3 will make an appearance, the NWA World Champion, and a whole lot more. Great entertainment for the family, family friendly. $25 for the first 2 rows, $20 for the floor, and $15 general admission. Get your tickets now for Evolution, brought to you by Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. Let me talk to you today about the original Hometown Pizza in Moon Township, right on University Boulevard. They have some of the best pizza you'll ever have. 412-264-4444. Call for takeout, delivery, or eat in. Go to the original Hometown Pizza today. Mention my name, Ralph Williams, and you will get a discount on your bill. Hometown Pizza, Moon Township, some of the best of the original Hometown Pizza. All right, we're back here at Sports Corner. Today we're not on the radio because Beaver County Radio has some other programming going on. So we're not on there today, but we're here, and we may be here next week as well. I will find that out for you. Please tune into my social media, my social media platforms, Facebook. Also, I'm on Twitter, X platform as well. All right, Smokin' Jim, let's talk a little bit of wrestling, close up the show a little bit here. Last night, Raw. I don't know if you watched it, but I had it was pretty funny. The confrontation between Damian Priest and crybaby Drew McIntyre. What were your thoughts on that last night?
On which one?
On the Damian Priest Drew McIntyre confrontation at the beginning of the show.
I tell you what, man, they was nose to nose in the ring. Damian's gonna give him an opportunity at the title. And that's all Drew really is looking for, man, an opportunity to be a world champion again. So Damian Priest better be careful.
Yeah, it looks like the Judgment Day is back involved in a tag team hunt here. It looks like it's going to be at the pay-per-view, I believe. It's going to be Damian Priest, excuse me. It's going to be Finn Balor and JD McDonough, the whipping boy there for the Judgment Day with his Band-Aid on his head, that kind of thing. So them two are going to
Carlito. For Carlito, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to go up against the tag team champs, The Miz and R-Truth. Who do you pick in this match?
The Miz.
Okay, yeah, The Miz and R-Truth. I'll tell you what, they do crazy things, but they do some stuff, but they're smart guys. They've been around the wrestling business a long time. They know how to wrestle. They know what to do. So it's it's a situation where I'm going to take them as well. I think. My question to you next is, who's going to win the King of the Ring? Who do you think is going to win it? I think it's going to be Gunther or Jey Uso.
Well, they go against each other in the semifinals.
Right.
Who's on the other side of the bracket?
I'm trying to think who's on SmackDown. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head who's on SmackDown.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to beat Gunther.
Oh man, you know what? He hasn't missed a step since he lost to Sami Zayn, and I keep saying this. I'm not a Gunther fan, Well, let me ask you this question. Who would you pick against Damian Priest and Gunther if it came to that? I'd take Gunther.
Gunther's one of those guys that doesn't do nothing exceptional, but does everything well. And he's smart, and he can set you up for that pin or submission. So, Damian Priest is kind of a hot hit, so I would say Gunther.
And I think Gunther's got more wrestling experience than Damian Priest too. I believe that to be the case. And he's got a lot of good moves. Damian Priest don't have that many. You see the submission moves he's been pulling lately. Gunther. So I mean, he's been digging some tricks out of the hat, and so. All right, Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan at the pay-per-view. What Liv looks like she, but I like Becky. What do you think?
It's Liv's time. It's Liv's time.
Yeah, well, Seth Rollins has already taken his break. So Becky Lynch has made it known that this is her last contract with the WWE. She wants to retire. She has a book out, which my wife purchased, and we'll see where this goes.
But you know who I think may be in the future somehow is the other girl from Ireland.
Oh, that Tyra really Valkyrie or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, she's a good wrestler. She was NXT champion. She beat Becky Lynch.
Wow.
So I mean, So I mean, there we are with that. Cody Rhodes. What do you think in his match? And do you think he wins, or where do you think Cody goes here?
Who's he wrestling?
Oh God, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. He beat AJ Styles.
Yeah, I forget, because I know there was nose to nose in the ring.
Yeah,
I can't remember who it was.
It's not.
I would. Oh, is it?
He's fighting Logan Paul. It's going to be.
Logan Paul.
Yeah, Friday.
Logan Paul will knock him out.
Yeah, it's going to be Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes, belt for belt. So, which means somebody could be a two champion.
He'll put on Patrick Mahomes 3 Super Bowl rings again and knock somebody out, bro.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think here's what I think.
When he did that,
I think WWE, and I'm not trying to say this to be rude to anyone who likes Logan Paul. I'm not a Logan Paul fan because he's a part-time champion. And when TKO took this company over, the one thing they said that they did not want was part-time champions. They wanted it gone, and Triple H wanted it gone. The only reason Logan Paul was here was because at the time Vince McMahon was still around. Remember? Okay, and so that's the only reason Logan Paul was around, and he had a contract. They brought him in. They were supposed to bring him in for part-time matches. That's it, once in a blue moon, kind of like a Brock Lesnar kind of thing. Pay him $1 million and send him home. Okay. But it didn't happen that way. They ended up making him a champ. And what makes no sense to me is, how in the world do you have a policy where you don't want part-time champs, but now you have one? Okay, that's the part that I have a problem with. And, but we'll find out where it goes. I like Nick Aldis with SmackDown. I think he's doing a pretty decent job. He's cracking the whip a little bit on a few things, so let's talk a little bit about the Bloodline. The Bloodline, they got a new member now, and it's Haku's kids, Tama Tonka and this other guy. And and then now you have Solo Sikoa running it. Well, do you see Roman Reigns coming back from doing his movies and resting or whatever it is he's doing? And he does decide to come back in the fall, because I hear SummerSlam is probably when he'll be back, or maybe the September pay-per-view. What do you think Roman Reigns will be as far as this goes?
I think he'll be like Jey Uso, Solo, because Solo's running the Bloodline now. He got his young boys in there, and they're going to probably have a few more Samoans in that Bloodline before Roman comes back. So Roman will probably come back and be a Yeats.
Well,
He'd be on his own, be on his own.
Well, the story I'm hearing is it's going to be a civil war.
That might
It's going
happen
to be
too.
Roman
That
Reigns
might
and
happen
the
too.
Usos versus them three guys, and it's going to be a civil war. I heard it could happen by SummerSlam, depending
Yeah, that
on
could happen.
the movie schedule of Roman Reigns right now. I mean, he has a movie
Yeah.
schedule. The Rock is back doing movies. The Rock says he's coming back sometime soon after he's done with his movies to go after Cody Rhodes, if Cody Rhodes
Yeah.
still has the title. So, I mean,
Yeah.
and, he wants to go after Cody Rhodes. I mean, he wants a match with him. I think he would want a match with him even if he wasn't the champion. I think he wants to go. He wants a match with Cody Rhodes. I think he has something to prove. Them two wrestled, in the same ring when they did the tag team match, and so I think there's more and more to it that meets the eye with this. So we'll see where the pay-per-view goes. That's next Saturday. It's in Saudi Arabia. It's the King of the Ring pay-per-view. We're going to find out who's going to be the king, who's going to be the queen. Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. And we're going to find out where all this goes. Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable on Monday for Raw. That's going to be an interesting match for the title. You see Chad Gable's running around with a chicken with his head cut off, running around in his little suit there, telling everybody how they stink. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, we're going to find out what happens in that match as well. Any final thoughts here before we wrap up?
No, I can't think any. Although I always like seeing my girl, the new girl. What's her name?
Oh, Tiffany Stratton.
No,
That's
I
your
love
girl.
that. But the black girl that just came
Oh,
up.
Jade Cargill. Oh my. Her and Bianca Belair as women tag team champions.
Yes,
wow. Well, you
yes,
know what? They might end
indeed.
up facing each other in the Queen of the Ring tournament.
I seen that.
Yeah.
They're in the same bracket. Yeah.
That could happen. And Io Sky could be going up against somebody. I'm trying to remember if her and Dakota Kai or whatever. I don't. I'm just. I follow the brackets, but then I switch channels back and forth sometimes. So I mean, sometimes Raw can be boring. So I mean, But anyway, AEW. How about Kenny Omega? He might have to retire.
Really?
He's got too many injuries, and then he tried to come back into the fold, and and his buddies, his former buddies, more or less, Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks, they beat the crap out of him so bad. Him and Jack Perry, and Jack Perry beat the crap out of him so bad. He's hurt again. So I mean,
didn't somebody turn on the Swerve?
yes, the Moog embassy. Yeah, they turned on him, but he got back at him this week. Oh, he went after. Oh, yeah, he went after him with a concrete block again, and he. Oh, yeah, he went after him big time. Something huge.
Wow.
He beat the crap out of all of them too, every one of them. And then Tony Schiavone goes, I don't know what it is with Swerve, but he has this thing about concrete blocks. Because remember what he did to Keith Lee? I was like, oh my. But anyway, so yeah, there you go. You got Nick and Matt Jackson, who are executive vice president, throwing their weight around, doing all this, acting immature like children, and running around AEW acting like a bunch of goofs, like they always do. So I mean, but anyway, I met them personally once, by the way.
Wow.
When I used to do security for ROH down at the Stage AE.
Wow.
I met him in person. I met Cody Rhodes twice. I met, and I told you my cab. I think I told you my cab stories about wrestling. A couple of them. Yeah, and then, when I was working down, I met Tony Atlas. I met,
wow, that's incredible.
I met Bully Ray. I met Kazarian.
Wow.
I met Christopher Daniels. I met all those guys when I used to work for ROH.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, when I did security for ROH down at Stage AE. So, But those days are over now because ROH is owned by Tony Khan, and they don't go around like they used to. They stay in one spot or whatever, like everyone else does and all that, So there we are there. Oh, by the way, Nick Nemitz, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, has been teaming up with, and I'm trying to remember his name. He's a former WWE star that went over there, and they used to team up together back in the day, and they're teaming up together to go up against a couple, Moose and another guy, and I'm trying to remember who Moose and Eddie Edwards, I think. I'm trying to remember who the guy is, but yeah, it's a former WWE wrestler. So, all right, Smokin' Jim, any more final thoughts before we wrap up here?
No, sir.
All right. For Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. This has been Sports Corner, and we'll be back possibly next week here on this format. If not, we will be on the radio side of things. So we'll talk to you next week. For Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. Have yourself a great night.